everyone, I'm Taylor Hudak with acTVism Munich, and welcome back to another Craig Murray case update. The court has officially delivered a decision in the contempt of court case against Craig Murray. Craig Murray is a former UK ambassador turned human rights activist and writer who is charged with contempt of court on 3 counts for his reporting on the Alex Salmond case in 2020. Now, acTVism Munich has been following this case closely, so if you are not caught up already, you can check out our case update playlist, link in the description down below. On January 27, 2021, Murray's case was heard before the High Court in Edinburgh. It was not until 8 weeks later that the court delivered a decision. A very brief 5-minute hearing was held on March 25th, and the court's decision was then published online and addresses each of the 3 counts in reverse, beginning with Count 3, reporting the exclusion of a juror in violation of a court order. The court found that Murray was not in violation of a court order for reporting on the dismissal of a juror. The decision states the order was very clear as to what was prohibited. The article in question bore no relation at all to the discussion which had taken place. Count 2, publication of material likely to influence a jury. The court once again found Craig Murray not guilty on this count. The articles in question are the Alex Salmond Fit-Up, which was published on August 23rd of 2019, and Yes Minister fan fiction, which was published on January 18th of 2020. Now, the Alex Salmond trial took place between March 9th and March 23rd of 2020. These dates are very important to understanding why the court rejected the advocate deputy's argument. Prior to the start of the Salmond trial, and prior to 2 of the preliminary hearings in the Salmond case, the Crown was aware of the January 18th article, Yes Minister fan fiction, and had even warned Murray that the article may be in contempt. However, no further appropriate action was taken by a judge to remove the article prior to the start or before the conclusion of the Salmond trial. It was not until 4 months later, on April 16th of 2020, that the petition against Murray was presented before a court. On this count, the court decision references precedent from a 1994 case, Robb versus Caledonian Newspapers. In Robb, a court found that there may be cases where a delay in bringing the matter to the court's attention can be justified, as where the facts were not known to the interested party until a much later date. But in Craig Murray's case, the Crown had knowledge of the Yes Minister fan fiction article in January 2020, having warned Murray that it may be in contempt. However, only a judge can order that an article be removed, not the Crown. Additionally, at this time, the Crown considered bringing contempt of court charges against Murray, but chose against it. In fact, the court's decision states the advocate deputy submitted that the Crown could have brought proceedings, but after careful consideration decided not to do that. The court was not favored with the reasons for that decision or with any justification for the decision not to bring proceedings as soon as possible. As the court in Robb observed, a decision to bring proceedings or draw the matter to the court's attention as soon as possible is necessary to prevent any further interference with the course of justice in the particular proceedings which are said to have been affected by it. Additionally, the decision states, it seems to us highly likely that examined at the proper time, the articles would have constituted a contempt. So why did the Crown wait until after Alex Salmond was found not guilty to then charge Craig Murray with contempt of court? Remember, Alex Salmond was found not guilty on March 23rd. Craig Murray was issued a petition in mid-April, nearly a month later. Now, another very interesting perspective was raised by legal analyst Alexander McCurris in a piece he wrote for Consortium News. And what I am about to share with you is not fact, but a legal analysis from a professional who is also taking into consideration the unstable political climate in Scotland, as well as the bitter feelings brought on by the Salmond trial. In his analysis, McCurris notes that if the court had found Murray guilty on this count, that is, publishing material likely to influence a jury, then some individuals could have argued that Murray's reporting did in fact impact the outcome of the Salmond trial, which could have then led to a mistrial, which could have initiated demands that Salmond be retried on the same charges. And again, to be clear, the situation has been avoided with the court's ruling on this count, but it does suggest the possible political motivations behind Craig Murray's case. The final count addressed in the court decision is jigsaw identification, and it is on this count that the court found Craig Murray guilty of contempt. The court adopted a broad interpretation of jigsaw identification to apply to a person with specialist knowledge, whereas a more narrow interpretation would only apply to a person in the general public. The court made its determination on this count based off of an objective test, which does not take into consideration the respondent's intent or if any real harm had occurred. The court's decision states, quote, "The contempt relates to material capable of identifying 4 different complainers. The court did not provide any proof or evidence that a complainer was actually identified as a result of Murray's articles alone or in addition to the already publicly available information." Legal analyst Alexander McCurris put it best when he said, quote, "According to this judgment, it seems that even if, when the media reports a case, the media has no intention of breaking the law and does not intend that what it reports should lead to the identification of a witness, and even if no witness is in fact identified because of anything the media has reported, then the media is still guilty of contempt of court if the court decides that its reporting has failed what the court says is an objective test," end quote. This case poses a serious threat to our basic freedoms of expression and has been recognized by freedom of speech and freedom of the press activists around the world. Many people have joined in on the hashtag #IStandWithCraigMurray, as well as publicly stating their solidarity with the human rights activist and writer.
I support Craig Murray because the world needs people with courage and integrity like Craig.
I stand behind Craig Murray. Craig Murray supported Julian and our right to know so well.
I stand by Craig Murray because he fights for freedom and justice.
I support Craig Murray for his dedication in covering stories that others would just like to ignore.
I support Craig Murray because he's a fantastic journalist. He's a great writer, so entertaining, and also he's always a freedom fighter and on the right side of history.
I support Craig Murray because we need more people like him that actually have a backbone.
I stand in solidarity with Craig Murray.
I stand with Craig Murray because he's a supporter of Julian Assange and a great defender of freedom of speech and journalism.
I support Craig Murray because he fights for justice and is a decent and honourable man.
I stand with Craig Murray because despite the strong years of resistance, Mr. Murray continued to fight our right and give me hope for the future.
Craig Murray will be sentenced on May 7th, one day after the parliamentary elections, and he faces a possible 2 years in prison. Craig Murray has dedicated his life to defending human rights, and now we must all defend and support him. I would recommend subscribing to his website at craigmurray.org.uk, and you could also subscribe to his YouTube channel under his name, Craig Murray. acTVism Munich will continue to follow this case, so make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel and be sure to hit the bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. And if you appreciate the work that we do here, please donate to our organization so we can continue with our independent news and analysis. I'm Taylor Hudak with acTVism Munich. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in my next report.